they vent. Mother's tired, she needs a rest. The kids are playing up downstairs. Sister's sighing in her sleep. Brother's got the late to see, we can't hang around. In the middle of our street. It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while. Just smile. We were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We were made to be courageous.
You're listening to The Family Factor with Denny C. right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
Welcome to The Family Factor, everybody, and this is Denny C. And you know, I recall the day that I went out on my front yard back in May 20th of 2013, and I looked toward the Moore area, and I could see that funnel south of where I live, and it wreaked havoc on that day. It caused 23 fatalities, 307 injuries, over $2 billion estimate in damages for an EF5 tornado. Well, today we have the authors of a book called Winds of Change. We're going to visit with them, and this is a way of giving back to the Moore community in the needs that they have. So please, tune in to The Family Factor with Denny C. and others. Well, hello, everybody. This is Denny C. with The Family Factor. We are so thankful you tuned in today. We have a special day coming in. We're going to be talking to various authors of that book I just was talking about, of the Winds of Change. You know, these are a group of wonderful people, and it amazes me how when this happened in Moore that everybody from every way, shape, or form has come together from not just from here, but from all over the world to help those victims from basically a natural event that nobody can control. There is not one type of military that could stop a tornado that was an F5 that tore through Moore, Oklahoma, and not just Moore, it affected many places. And then a few days later, there was one that came in through what is called El Reno, Oklahoma. It lifted, believe it or not, it lifted over where I live and then went back down, and then it did some more destruction through the area in Bethany or Council area. And then it went on to do some other damage going through the city of Oklahoma City. It was amazing that this all happened. Well, today we're going to be having some wonderful listeners. I apologize. I'm excited, and here's why. Because today is the release of a book that I'm going to let the authors talk about, because they really, really are phenomenal in their short writing skills. And the thing is, do you realize that this book was written for the only purpose of giving to those victims of that tornado back in May of 2013? And so we're going to be bringing them on one at a time. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them here. First of all, I have with me Miss Tracy Denham. Miss Tracy, would you please tell us a little bit about the book and about your actions in this and everything else, please?
Well, I live in Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm an aspiring writer myself and working on my own books and working on getting them self-published when, as you know, all the tornadoes hit us in May. And I just kept thinking, well, what can I do? And so I have become friends with so many wonderful people through Facebook and social networking in this writing community, and I put out a request for authors to send me short stories. The only requirement was that it has to be original fiction fantasy stories that they owned all rights to, and that they would be willing to donate for me to put together a collection just for the purposes of publishing to raise money for my fellow Oklahomans and neighborhood and community, because it's just so devastating. It still chokes me up just thinking about it, and driving through the areas to see neighborhoods that there are no houses. And it's not one house or two houses. It's an entire neighborhood that are just flattened to the slab, and even in October. And I've taken pictures first back in May, then in August, and then again in October, just to kind of show people, you know, yes, we are rebuilding, but how much farther it's going to take us, as we've seen in the news, you know, a year later from Hurricane Sandy. So this is local to me, and I wanted to do something local. You know, what could I do? I didn't have money or anything to donate a whole lot, and so I decided, well, what can I take my talents and pull it together? And I have found some of the most wonderful people that have come on board and given of their time and their talent at no charge just to help us. So that's That's where Winds of Change came from. As a matter of fact, we didn't know what to call the book for a very long time, and one of our authors, Simon Parker, is from the UK. He came up with the name, and it just stuck because Winds of Change. It kind of fit the project for why we were doing it, and also for us to bring about change and help each other. Now, the stories are not about the tornadoes. The stories range. They're all over the place. As I said, the only stipulation I had was that they be fantasy and fiction. And so we got a mod podge of different things, from fairies to vampire hunters, and then, in the 1800s, little girls in gingham dresses. I mean, we got the whole range, but every story is awesome.
Well, that is great.
That's enough. That's kind of how that came about.
Well, that is great. And let me ask you this. Excuse me. I would say, because I've known you for quite some time, in the last, say, 3 months, though, first of all, how many months have gone by that you've been working on this? Because this happened at the end of May, and here it is, the end of October, almost November starting. When did you start this whole idea of the book? Like, how long ago have you had this in production? Because I remember talking to you over just the picture
evolved.
Cover and all that,
It has certainly evolved, hasn't it? It went from just a little idea to, oh, wow, we need to build a company and a nonprofit, and it's grown legs, and that's what has happened. Is you can't just simply publish a book and then donate it all. The government likes to get their hands in the red tape, as everyone knows. So over the summer, I put out the request, I believe, May 31st, because the 20th or 22nd is when the first tornado came through, and again we had more tornadoes that whole week. So I put out the request maybe 7 days after it hit, and started getting responses across the world immediately. And it took me all summer pretty much to organize it, and as we just trial by fire. I didn't know what I was getting into at all. But it has been a wonderful labor of love, and have found out so much about this community and publishing that you would never know. But so I've been actively working on it, I would say, since June 1st. And for a book to go from idea to completion and for sale by the end of October from June 1st is just absolutely stupendous. That explains how hard everyone has worked. I found an extraordinary editor, proofreader, Regina Mitchell-Jones, and she has signed on for the project and any other project books that I come up with in the future. She has graciously helped me edit and proof and format, which was the biggest deal, was format the book for print. We'll be printing it on CreateSpace through Amazon, and we've already have it live on Kindle for Kindle download on Amazon as of yesterday. So, and besides Regina, we have great graphic designers have offered, did our book cover for free. We have Puddingtane Productions in New York, Janelle Kane. She's helping with marketing and advertising. And then 19 authors, including myself, have signed on and done this together. So it's been quite a process that we put together. We learned about contracts and everything that goes together with a project of this magnitude. And so I have now founded a nonprofit which is called ROM Relief, which is actually a shortened version of my own author page, Realm of Maird. So just ROM Relief. And you can find that on Facebook, just facebook.com, ROM Relief. That's going to be the home of all of our project books for now and coming up, and then the blog and everything is under construction. Our main focus right now has been to, of course, get the book together and bring it to the public as fast as possible so that we can raise funds. Because, you know, the longer you take, the out of sight, out of mind, that people aren't apt to, oh, yeah, there was a tornado, I think. But that's why we had that urgency to push on the book. And so while the websites are still coming, but the book is done and ready and out, and we are so proud of it.
Exactly. And I understand. As a matter of fact, you know, the thing is, even after we have this interview today with different authors, we're going to continue to help you in the spreading of the word of this book. Now, for instance, I noticed you had a really good write-up by Monica Hayes. Is that correct?
Yes, I was interviewed for M.L. Gardner's. She's an author. She does guest authors blogs every Wednesday. I was interviewed for her blog, and it's quite an honor because it's hard to be chosen for that. And so she just posted that live today on her blog, and it gave more information about basically how I came about this idea in the book and the authors that are included. And so, yeah, that was quite an honor to have done.
Good. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, we also have in our studio, I believe we have somebody else that I think, if it's not mistaken, I think it's Simon. Do you mind, Tracy, just holding on a minute so I can introduce whoever this is on this other side?
No, go right ahead, please.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm bringing somebody on. Is this Simon? I believe it is. Hi, Simon. How are you?
It is. Hello.
Well, it's a pleasure having you from the UK. Why don't you kind of give everybody an idea of who you are, how you've had a great help in this, helping from across the fish pond there. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Simon. We appreciate you.
Well, obviously my name's Simon Parker. I'm a horror writer from the UK, and I saw Tracy's appeal for stories to be donated. And I'd seen, obviously, what was going on in Oklahoma on the news feed over here. And I felt that there was nothing I could do. And obviously, when I saw that appeal, it was something I could do. The rest is history, really. I jumped on board, and Tracy's been amazing getting it all together.
Well, and I appreciate you tuning in. I mean, right now, what time is it over there in the UK? I know it's 8 hours ahead of us.
It's 2 p.m., actually. That's partly...
Oh, okay, so it's only 6 hours ahead of us then. Okay, gotcha. Well, not 6 hours, but 5 hours. Gotcha. Well, okay, so let me ask you this. You know, over there, y'all have a very wet area because you're surrounded by the water there. So let me ask you this. In being an author, what gives you your greatest influence for the writing that you do?
Good question. Most of my writing comes from difficulties I had in childhood. I had night terrors, nightmares, all sorts of vague indescribable problems, and rather than let them conquer me, I wrote them down in dream journals and things like that, and I took that into the realms of fiction to stop it controlling me and become entertainment, if you like.
I know.
Simon
That makes
and
sense.
I were kind of talking about that last night. Well, I would like to write about all the beautiful creatures that don't exist. He likes to write about all the gritty ugliness of people, and then also, all the scary, just to give you a good scare.
Well, I tell you what that reminds me of. S.E. Hinton, she got her writing ideas from different pasts that she'd had, and that's amazing. Let me ask both of you for a moment, especially Simon as well. In the world that you live in, from the perspective of today's authorship, and I thought I would just interject this real quickly. What are you seeing changing in the world of authorship today, in the world of writing, from the days of back under William Shakespeare and all of the old ancient writers up to the newer ones? Have you seen any major changes in quality and presentation?
I think the quality's still there. The quantity has certainly increased. There's an awful lot of people have got much more access to it now, so there is a lot of rubbish out there. Mm-hmm. Forgive me for
I understand what you mean by that.
There's still an awful lot of quality out there. It's just easier to get to now. People who have amazing talent who wouldn't have seen the light of day before because of the way publishers used to work now have easier access to it.
Right, because they're going to say, okay, we're going to make the money off who we can the most by their writing. Exactly. I think the one that wrote the Harry Potter series that went out of my mind. I don't know why. Oh my goodness.
J.K. Rowling.
You know who I'm talking. Thank you very much. I find it very interesting that in her situation, I don't know why it went out. I've read all her books. That she was not getting published, and then she just sends it off on a fluke, and boom, it takes off on a local level among kids. I mean, I think that was very interesting if you ever look at the biography of her. And, just for a moment, we have another one who's shown up. This is Regina. Regina, if you don't mind, would you introduce yourself and your play in this work?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. I was just playing with this, trying to get this set up. I met Tracy online via Facebook, of course, and we kind of buddied up. She asked me if I would be interested in donating some time in editing. And I'm new doing the editing full time, and it came at a time I was very busy. So my partner and I, Karen, talked about it, and I'm from the Midwest originally, Missouri, so I'm familiar with the tornadoes and everything. And I just really felt it was an important project and was honored to be asked to be a part of it. So Karen and I decided that we would help. So that's where I came in.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, Joplin got hit, was it a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And it got hit pretty bad. I mean, I remember my wife likes to go to Precious Moments past Joplin, and and we saw that entire area, and they've really been making a recovery, but it did some great damage, as we know. Now, let me say this real quickly to all three of you. First of all, I want to thank all three of you for the time and the effort, and really, if you think about this, total giving without reward other than helping others. And I appreciate you, Simon. I appreciate you, Tracy, and you, Regina, and the other writers that will hopefully be coming up over time. And because in this life and day that we live, this is the aspect of the world we need to see more of, where we all help each other, where we all give more to help those in need, who in turn can help those eventually who are in need as well. What I want to do here is I'm going to let me think about this real quickly here. Basically, let me ask this. Miss Regina, now, are you just the editor, or did you do any of the writing in the book?
I did not do any of the writing. I did the editing. My partner did basic proofreading, and then I went through and did some editing, and I did all of the formatting of the book, which was a learning experience in and of itself.
Exactly. Well, let me ask this real quickly. Did y'all do any test readers to see what seemed to catch the eye or did you authors read each other's books and really found it interesting, the work and the mindset of each of the authors? How did y'all do this? How did it form? In other words, because you basically become a group. I mean, I've been a part of your group, Winds of Change. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I could answer to that one for you. This is Tracy. I literally cast the blind net out and got back lots and lots of responses. I had to read through them all, and there were a few that I had to cut and not include with the book because it just would not have worked with it. I did request that all the authors keep it at least, PG-13.
Yes.
Not anything too risky. Because we have some romance authors that send in some stories, and they're known
loose stories or more family-friendly stories. Which
right. Something that is appropriate for the most audiences to read. And then also, as Regina and I were going through and formatting and setting things up, we came up with the idea of rating each story so that because they are so different, it kind of prepares the reader. Okay, this story's rated G, or this story's rated PG. This one's PG-13 due to violence or whatever. So that way it gave them a little bit of a heads up before they started reading it, so it wasn't such a jarring sensation to go from hometown wholesome to vampire hunter. So we did that, and then Regina also asked that the author send in just a little synopsis of what their story was to put at the beginning of it. That also helped out. So really,
exactly. Simon, what would you have to say in relation to that? Hello, Simon, are you there?
Hello?
Oh, Simon, what would you have in relation to what she was saying?
I'll be honest, I didn't hear half of that. I had issues with the phone line.
Well, no, just quickly speaking, basically, in your connection with the stories that you write, Simon, you already said it's due to your fears that you had when you were younger and maybe even fears of today, and it's a great way of releasing those emotions of those fears, But we're going to take a break here for just a moment, but I want to let everybody know in the Family Factor, we appreciate these three that have come on board so far to speak to us. We're going to have more coming in at 10 o'clock, but we appreciate Simon from the UK. And Simon, please stay. We're not getting rid of you yet. We're just going to go to a commercial break,
okay.
But we thank all of you for being there. We really do. Okay, so we've got our nice media guy. He's going to take care of things for us here. But anyway, so let's see here.
You're listening to The Family Factor with Denny C. right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Good morning, folks. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I am Double R, founder here at Common Ground Media Group. We're going to take a real quick news break, let you guys know what's going on around the country, and then talk a little bit about some upcoming shows. Then we'll be right back in with The Family Factor, hosted by Denny C. and the authors of Winds of Change. So what we have going on today, so far, at least on a national level, is the Health Secretary has actually issued an apology for the Obamacare website. At a congressional hearing today, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius strongly apologized for the botched launch of the Obamacare website. You can see the full story at CNN.com. A plane crash at a recent local airport has gone completely unnoticed. That one actually won't pull up, so we'll leave that one alone. For those of you who are following pop news and events, Jonas Brothers have called it quits. Is it just me, or is it finally about time to say, wow, gee, thanks, it's about time? Just saying. All right, so, sorry, a little bit of humor there.
They got a well.
So, yeah, I also have a particular politician, I'm actually trying to track his name right now, who apparently got busted off dropping all kinds of words you're really supposed to say on the air. Apparently it's one, but it's actually not letting me pull it up. So one senator calls another an A-word during a Gene Moo report. Politicians who like their language salty. So apparently The folks in Congress, yeah, they don't have any more of a filter than I do, for those of you who've been listening to my show on a regular basis, so I guess I really can't say too much about that. But that pretty much brings us up to speed is the stuff that's going on, at least at the national level. Now, for those of you who tune in on a regular basis, of course, you can catch the Red Shirt Friday episode of Finding Common Ground tomorrow, or actually, today's Wednesday, huh? So yeah, never mind. That's at 9 a.m. Forgive me, folks. I've been putting in rather long hours, so I'm a little discombobulated. But at this point, you can catch us Friday at 8 a.m. On Red Shirt Friday. Of course, that'll be, again, me and Dave. The Fringes will be airing tomorrow only on the Blog Talk channel. It's actually not being picked up by K98 Talk because, of course, it's not a talk show. But you can catch it there. And that, of course, will be at its normal time of 8. And at this point, I think I've prattled on long enough for this break, so I'm going to turn over to Denny. 1 minute, please.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. We have great speakers here today, and I tell you what, it amazes me that these things seem to be going on in the world all around us, but the most important thing that we need to always have would be to be as these writers have been. They have taken of their own time, their own money, their own efforts. Right now, Simon, is this costing you just to call us from afar?
It is, yes. Yeah, it's not a problem, though. No problem at all.
Well, no. Well, I appreciate you doing it, though. I mean, because, it amazes me that in our day and time, though, that we have people wanting to take the money from the poor and give to the rich. And all you're trying to give is give from the rich and give to the poor. Let me break for just a moment and say this. We have upcoming holidays, and this would be a great gift for a family member of your family to learn about the real life that we live in with a book of short stories. I mean, and people are pretty picky. There may only be a few short stories they like out of the book. The point is, it has different types of short stories in that book. So let me ask this, if you don't mind, Regina, since you're the editor of the book, what are the makeup of the different stories? In other words, for instance, what story caught your eye the most in that book of stories?
I really like the G-rated story about the gingham dress that Tracy mentioned. I really liked that one. And then for the fun side of it, or for the scary side of it, I really liked Alwyn by Ron Steele. And I just really enjoyed them all. There was such a big variety of stories. They ranged from what am I trying to say? Family type stories to Halloween type stories to just those stories that make you think. It's just a great variety.
That sounds great. I talked to Ron last week, and I'll have him on in the future because he's having a book coming out next month. And any of the authors that have done writings that have new books coming out, I ask that you please let me know this, because we'll be glad to share with the worldwide web of people, as well as radio stations out in New York and so forth, these various things. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Simon has one out now.
Simon, why don't you talk about your book? Don't mind. Fill us in on that book that you have out.
It's called Tales of the Mysterious and Macabre. It's again, it's a collection of short stories. It's how can I describe it? I like the psychological part of horror, not so much the gore. There is some gore in there. You've got to have a little bit of gore, but I like messing with people's minds, like disturbing people. And there's one or two really disturbing stories in there.
Okay. And when did you release that book?
I think it was April. April it came out, yeah.
And how could somebody go about reading the book cover and maybe order it?
It's only available in digital format at the moment. It's on Amazon Kindle. And
okay, so it's an Amazon Kindle.
Tales of the Mysterious and Macabre by Simon Parker.
Okay, well, I appreciate you doing that. Now, as you know, this book is being used. That the book by all of you, The Winds of Change. I like that title. Now, Simon, did you come up with The Winds of Change? Was it you that came up with that title?
Yes, I believe it was. I don't want to claim too much of the limelight on that one, but I'm happy that it got picked.
I mean, I think that is a great title for the purpose behind that book, The Winds of Change. It's almost like you remember the movie based on actually a biblical statement, Inherit the Wind. So in this case, it's not Inherit the Wind, which means it's full of nothing but blowing. This is Winds of Change, which means where basically you may have a house and the winds come and change it and you have no house. And then again, money comes in to help you with a wind of money and it brings back the house. It's Winds of Change. So, unfortunately, Winds of Change do not bring back those who passed away. I want to thank all of you who are a part of this. My sister-in-law, she has a half-sister who was in that 7-Eleven that was hit there and more, and most of the people died. She was the one that lived, and very, 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 very injured. She was in our hospital for several months. They kept putting her on the news, kept bringing her up on Channel 4 News, and I think the other news stations too. And she finally got to go home. But what I did see in her spirit was a spirit that was not one of giving up, not one of just why live. Her spirit was one of happiness, one of going forward. And that doesn't mean she didn't have an emotional breakdown. Everybody would. But she did not give up on life. She knows there's a reason why she lived, and now she's going to take advantage of that with that wind of change that hit her world. And that's why I like that word, Winds of Change. I think it's wonderful, that title, Simon, that you came up with. Now, let me ask this. Are y'all going to be speaking? I know, Simon, you technically are speaking over over this show with us today. But are any of the authors, pardon me, is more going to have any, at one time, are they going to have any, or y'all going to have any kind of a tent thing or a meeting somewhere where you're going to talk to the public about this book or anything like that? I mean, what is your method in getting this book sold?
I'm actually working with the advertising consultant promoting Janelle Kane. She's working with a package for us. We're trying to canvass all the internet avenues and social media avenues that we can. There are 19 authors, so we have quite a force to try and get it out online. As we get book sales coming in, then we'll be able to expand, and reinvest in it and expand our coverage, because we are working from donations and empty pockets at the moment. So
right,
that's what,
right.
Yeah. So yes, there will be coming things that I can notify you of in the future.
Exactly. By the way, sorry, my throat gave me a little bit of a scare to the point that my studio guy, he's saying, "Are you alive?" So I'm sorry about that. Well, so that's great. Now let me ask this: so the book is already available at Amazon under the Kindle Fire, correct?
Yes.
Today, it's already available.
On Amazon Kindle right now.
Okay. Now, when is the actual book fashion supposed to be available?
Finalizing the proof copies from CreateSpace. It'll also be available for order for print off of Amazon. So it'll be the same place that you find the Kindle, only if you want to order a print copy, there'll be an option for that. That takes a little bit longer to finalize with the company because the print copies have more formatting than the digital copies do.
Right,
so that
right.
Should be live in 24 hours, 48 hours. It'll be live for print orders.
Okay. Well, now, Simon, do you have a book coming out in the near future?
I've got another short story coming out in an anthology that's due at Christmas. Title's not been decided on that one yet, but my first full-length novel isn't due out until about June next year. That's still a work in process.
And what would be the best way for anybody who would like to find out more about those books as they happen? Do you have like a blog or something they would need to go to?
I do have a blog, yes. It's quite a long and complex web address.
Okay. Well, would
you
there
like
be
it?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I think the listeners would like to hear it.
It's www.artisanangelblog.wordpress.com, I think. God, putting me on the spot now.
Well, I tell you what. Do you have a public email address that you would want to share?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to share that. It's horror word, not horror world, horrorword@ymail.com.
Gotcha. So it's HORRORWORD, correct?
Yes, horror word.
Okay.
And also to add to that, you can go to tracydeming.com. I'm going to list all of the authors' blogs and links to their pages and everything for the project under ROM Relief. So that'll be a centralized location to find everyone. And that's Tracy with an EY, Deming, DEM1MING at just tracydeming.com.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, let's see here. I'm looking at my looking to see if there's anything going on that we need to pause for the cause. Let's see here. By the way, Simon, we thank you for being here. Are you needing to go due to the time? I mean, it's not that I'm trying to get you to leave. I feel bad that you're long distance calling here.
No, it's not my bedtime just yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask this if I can, Miss Regina. In the upcoming sell and work of this book, are you going to be doing more for this group like I heard, if I'm not mistaken, that there will be a future run of a second volume of this book?
Yes, Tracy, I'm interested in working with Tracy and with this organization for the long haul at this point. And we've kind of discussed having, maybe 3 a year or something like that. And I was talking last night that with Tracy that maybe we could pick up on some other things to donate on in the future, like maybe even animal rescues, spay-neuter, organizations that do spay-neuter. We could have a book with stories on animals. But yes, she's talking like at least maybe 3 a year. And I'm interested in working with her on all of them.
Well, I know that there's a lot of needs in this nation and the world around us, from those who are without food, those who have illnesses that are life-threatening, those who have certain genetic issues like autism, spinal bifida, Down syndrome. I actually am working on my doctorate in neuropsychology. I work with special children. I love them. And I'll tell you what, there are some idiots in the world, and it's not anybody with a different type of life. It's these people who think they're totally healthy when they can learn a thing or two from these kids who are golden in different areas. That I learn something new every time I work with these children, that I need to humble myself. And that's what I've got to say from you three writers, or you're not a writer, but from you three individuals that helped write this book. And I'm not saying you don't write, Miss Regina. I'm just going off what you said.
Right.
I see people with a very humble heart of all three of you just trying to help out those, and you're paying it forward, as the phrase is. You're paying it forward, and hopefully those who purchase this book, they in essence are paying it forward to those who are in need, and I think that's wonderful. And so, if I can just do that plug, I think pay it forward is the aspect we're talking about here, that everybody involved in this writing are paying it forward to those who need, and therefore those who purchase this book are paying it forward as well, and therefore everybody's helping each other, and that's what is so wonderful. Just trying to keep an eye on everything here. Let's see here. We're coming up on the 9:45 hour. Ms. Tracy, if you don't mind, let me ask you this. Your story that you have in this book, what is it about?
My story is called Raven's
Just
Fire.
in general. Don't Yeah, just in general. Don't give it the direct. Don't give it. Don't kill it. But go ahead.
He knows me well. Basically, it's an introduction to the world from which I write in. It's just a story about two young elves, star-crossed story. I would say, it's a magical Romeo and Juliet without the dying part. That's about as simplified as I can get for you for Raven Fire. But and then part 2 to that is going to be called Raven Frost, and that'll be in the next collection. We're going to do a winter collection. That'll be the theme. And after that, part 3, I'll put together part 1, 2, and 3 and just publish as a standalone book for them. So that's my personal project outside of that as well. So I'll be donating the stories, the first 2, to the collection, and then wrap it up in a personal book. But Regina and I have both got together and really brainstormed a lot of ideas on this, and we can really either drill down the books and do as specific purposes as we want, or as general and as broad as we like. And I really haven't heard of any other author community or publishing community that is doing this. One, to raise funds for people who really need it, but 2, to give a voice and lend, to new aspiring authors that are trying to break into the market as well. So it's like we're doing a double duty. We're helping in 2 ways.
Good. Now, Simon, you're from the UK, and I'm actually a professional songwriter. I used to be on tour back in the late 80s. I did the MTV video and all that. But what I've always loved is the influence, and not to change it, but if you think about this, some of the things that y'all are writing, I've been influenced by the thoughts and the minds of the Beatles, of the different individuals from George Harrison to John Lennon to Paul McCartney, who I've actually got to meet and play with one time. And it amazes me, and Ringo too. And so here's a song. I want everybody to just kind of listen for just a moment. Here's a song that I actually, I don't know why I'm going to do this, but I thought I'd do it for the fun of it. I'm just trying to find it real quickly. I actually have a Beatles tune that it's not a Beatles tune because we will not break the law, but I wrote a song that's kind of like a kind of an English type thing. Give me just a minute while I figure this out real quick. Oh, I know where it is. Hold on, please. It's going to be right here, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. So may I put you on hold, everybody? I'm just going to let y'all hear this for just a quick 42-second break. Here we go. Well, I had fun with that one. I mean, that's just how it is. Y'all are probably thinking, boy, this guy's a jerk or an idiot or whatever, but I just had to have fun with that. It just hit me one day. So, anyway, Simon, I hope that wasn't too ridiculous. You're a little
nuts, but that's okay.
Well, thank you there. So, everybody, this is Double R, who you've been talking to in your own chat, Robert, and we appreciate him being there running everything.
Well, not to confuse anyone, but yeah, I've yelled over because if I'm talking to them, they actually can't hear the show. So since most of them are already here, I've just been kind of letting them hang out. I'm the guy pushing the buttons behind the scenes today. So the focus is on Denny and you guys. So I'm going to go back to my little workstation here. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Okay, so back to the story. It amazes me that this book is already available by Kindle and Amazon Kindle. And in essence, how much does it cost to purchase this book as a Kindle?
Right now, it's $3.99. We're going to run it for $3.99 for the digital for the first couple of weeks, and then it'll go to $5.99. So if you want to get your copy for Christmas and help out, now's the time to do it, because then we'll be bumping the price up. Just as a limited offer first to run out. Once the print copies are available, those are $12.99. It's quite a bit of overhead whenever they're printing.
Okay. Let's see here, and let me ask you this, Simon. The new book that you've got coming out in you said June of next year, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What, without giving the whole storyline, what would you say is the main thought of that book that the people will come away with a really good time? I love to read at night when I go to bed. I love to read. You name it, I love to read it. I've got a huge library of all kinds of books. So I'm going to be looking for your book, Simon. I'm telling you that now. So having said that, what would be just a good, as I was saying with Tracy, a good general concept?
It's only a little project, really. I'm just rewriting human history completely from the start.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's how can I say it without giving it away too much?
Yeah.
There's an alien intervention right at the very beginning, and a race of vampires are created, basically, that take over the world.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So. I'm sorry, Tracy, what were you saying?
I said I'm on board.
Well, that sounds good. Now, we have another person that's just shown up. Let's see here. Just trying to see. Let me introduce this person. And who do we have on board with us now?
This is Laura Henley.
Well, hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Are y'all doing
Denny,
okay, guys?
Can I break in for just a second?
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure, but I'm getting some feedback in the studio. I think one of you may have an player window. If you're listening on your phone or through Skype, you can actually hear the whole show through either your phone or the headset or your speakers. So if you could kind of lower the volume a little bit, I'm getting some squeal on my side. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, and I'm sorry, who is this again? You said this is Miss Henley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so let me ask this real quickly. What did, in relation to this book, what was your place in this book? What did you present? What did you give to this book?
I actually presented a short story called Weather the Storm. Contributed, it's actually like kind of based in Hawaii, and they pretty much, the two main characters are in love, and they have to go through this whole big storm that's happening in Hawaii, and it's like a true test of their love to come out of it.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. And so how long have you been a writer?
A little bit over a year. I just actually produced my first children's book that came out in August, and I have a adult novel that comes out actually on the 7th of November.
Okay. And what was the children's book that you had come out? Excuse me, the child's book that you had come out?
It's called Jessie Discovers Christmas, and she just learned, she's a 6-year-old little girl that learns the true meaning of Christmas and kind of travels all over the world and then brings it back home and introduces it to her family. Instead of learning about that Christmas is just about, presents and things like that. That it's actually more than that.
Okay. And so you have another book coming out. Now let me ask you this: for the children's book, how is that? How could somebody look into that book and maybe purchase it for the upcoming holiday? Because that's what it's about.
It is actually available on Amazon right now, and it is called Jessie Discovers Christmas, and it's available on print and Kindle.
And she's a girl, right?
Yes, sir.
So Jessie is a girl. Finding out a little bit more about Christmas. I know I had to just take that song. Okay. I know that's a little bit ridiculously stupid, guys, but I had to just do that for the cause on that one. Let's see here. Let's see. So basically, I've been in contact with you for the last couple of days. You said you'd be coming on around 10 o'clock. And so let me ask this real quickly. What moved you to present for this book?
Actually, I live in Oklahoma, and the tornado actually was on track to come and hit the area that I lived in, and it actually shifted tracks maybe about 5 miles away from the area that I lived in. And so I actually drove through the city of Moore, and, you know, when I saw it, I just started crying because these people have, you know, completely lost everything. And so when Tracy approached me with the idea, I immediately started thinking and started hammering out ideas, and, you know, the story just came alive for me.
Right. Well, I tell you what, anybody who's driven down I-35 and more, if you look to the east side of that road, what do you see now? Do you see all the trees and all those buildings? What do you see now? Anybody want to give us a shout-out on that one?
The trees you'll see are still broken and bent, and you'll see a lot of new construction, but there's still a lot of empty spaces where houses have not been rebuilt, or there's tarps over their roofs or windows, or if they had any pieces of roof left. And you really have to exit 35 and just kind of drive through the neighborhood a little bit, and you'll see. But, I mean, they are trying to rebuild, but it's very, very slow.
I hear you. But, no, I hear you. And so those of you who are listening to us across the world, like Simon is across the world right now, well, he's just on a jet plane going across the fishbowl called Atlantic. But anyway, believe you me, what'd you say? I'm sorry?
I said I wish.
You wish. Well, what I was going to say is what you see really is, you know, if you were in India right now, we had the tsunami going on over there in India, and they were below sea level or right at sea level, and it was going to destroy, and it did, a lot of people living across the coast. So we have a lot of people who can understand, whether it is due to the fire we had in California, due to the tornadoes that we have, due to the hurricanes and the tropical storms that have been hitting the Gulf Coast, as well as the New Jersey and all those areas. It's amazing that in this last year we have seen a lot of natural changes. We've had earthquakes going on recently as well. Even in Oklahoma, we've had some. You know, it woke me up about 2 years ago. One earthquake we had. I mean, you wouldn't think, but it did. I thought somebody hit my house with their car because I live on a corner, and it was just amazing that that was actually an earthquake. Well, we're going to take a break for the cause, everybody. Simon, if you need to sign off, we thank you for being here. But if you're still here, the only reason why I'm saying that, I don't want you to go. But if you're going to be staying,
I will say my goodbyes, actually, because I think my battery on my phone is about to die.
Okay. Well, Simon, again, it's been a pleasure, sir. I would like to keep in touch with you, and I will through this. And I look forward to your new book coming out in June of next year, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say to the to our listeners out there about anything at this time?
The only thing I'd like to say is go and buy Winds of Change.
All right, sir. We thank you, sir, for that very much, and we thank you for tuning in. Guys, we're going to take our 10 o'clock break. We'll be back in a few minutes. And again, this is Denny C. with the Family Factor, talking to those writers and authors and those who have been editing the book called Winds of Change that helps give back to those who were hurt in the Moore tornado, as well as others in this area of Oklahoma.
You are now tuned into the Bush Leagues of Talk Radio, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Well, all right, folks. Well, as Denny C. mentioned, this is our 10 o'clock break. I do want to give a shout-out to our sponsor this half hour. That would be 101 Solutions. If you are new to the talk radio industry or need some things done for you, go ahead and hit them up via email. You can find a lot of stuff they have available. Liners, graphics, anything you need, they can help you get it done. And their prices are reasonable. One of the guys that runs that I've known for quite some time. He's been showing me some stuff behind the scenes once I told him I was actually serious about this. So yeah, if you are thinking about getting involved in some way and you need some help, go ahead and hit them up. You can find them on the World Wide Web at any time and always available. Now, we do have some things that I'd like to go over in the news during our little break here. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, because I don't know about you guys, but I have family members who have worked at Walmart, and there's been some controversy embroiling that place for quite some time about the whole wage disparity situation. And apparently, Bill Simon, the CEO of Walmart, has made a rather astonishing decision. Apparently, they are now scheduled to promote a total of 25,000 employees. Now, you can see the full story on KOCO.com if you're local to the Oklahoma area. Actually, I guess you could see it pretty much anywhere. But I thought that was interesting. I've been listening to it for a few minutes while I was working on some stuff in the studio, and it's just an interesting move on their part, because they've been under a lot of bad press lately because of the fact that they have thousands of employees that are still on food stamps and everything else. So I just thought that would be an interesting thing that you guys might want to look over. And one moment, because now my internet's going crazy again. Just enjoyed trying to do live news breaks. At some point, we're actually going to get this stuff set up to where I can actually have the stuff kind of pre-recorded and we can just roll it. But for today, we're doing it the old-fashioned way, so bear with me. That, and just got a note from Denny that he needed to step away, so I'm on my own for a few. For those of you who are in Oklahoma, as you are aware, we've had some pretty interesting weather this morning. Apparently, at least if I take a look out my window, it seems to have calmed down for the moment. From what I understand, we are expected to have some severe weather later this afternoon, apparently rolling in between about the 5:30, 6 o'clock time frame. Also expecting some possible hail cores with that. So just make sure that if you are local to this area that you take precautions if you can, just in the event that what I'm seeing here on the weather reports is accurate. And let's see, back. At this point, I think I've taken up enough time. I think there was something that Denny wanted to play at the beginning of the show that I don't think we got a chance to do yet, or I missed it. So regardless, I actually want to hear it. So one moment, please, while I get this queued back up. And wouldn't you know, the one time you try to type in a hurry, your system's like, there we go.
Over the rainbow, way up high.
Welcome to the Family Factor, everybody, and this is Denny C. And you know, I recall the day that I went out on my front yard back in May 20th of 2013, and I looked toward the Moore area, and I could see that funnel south of where I live, and it wreaked havoc on that day. It caused 23 fatalities, 307 injuries, over $2 billion estimate in damages for an EF5 tornado. Well, today we have the authors of a book called Winds of Change. We're going to visit with them, and this is a way of giving back to the Moore community in the needs that they have. So please, tune in to the Family Factor with Denny C. and others. Okay, so we're back with the Okay, somebody decided to mute me and turn me back on. I just love it when that happens. Anyway, but we're back to the Family Factor with Denny C. We're going to be looking at talking again to, the authors of this book. And last week we talked with Ron Steele, who was wonderful. He was a great interview. He has a new book coming out, as he stated, in a few days, and we're going to make sure that he comes back on the show to talk about that. And again, we will plug The Winds of Change by different authors. Now, Tracy, if you don't mind, would you please read off the different authors that are going to be on this book, The Winds of Change?
Yeah, just 1 second. Let me get that.
Everybody, I kind of threw her for a loop. She had no idea what I was going to ask her. But the thing is, we appreciate everybody being here for this very thing. And by the way, those of you tuning in, as you can tell, we are a growing company. I used to do this on AM radio for a long time. And I used to have actually all the sliders and the gurus and all that stuff going on. Well, we're bringing it back because I miss doing this. I miss promoting these kind of things that help families and those who are suffering due to different natural disasters and so on. So, Tracy, what would be the authors, and if you want to, give the titles of their short stories if you think that's appropriate?
Okay, let me get that the authors and their titles. I've got that here. Just 1 second. I was looking at the wrong document. Just give me one more second.
That's okay. One. No, I'm kidding. By the way, everybody, you're ready? Is that what you said?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Basically, just so you know, we're working on bringing this to we have other stations that are wanting to live feed us for future use. By the way, the Family Factor will now be a 5-day-a-week show, starting within a week or so or less. We're every day from 6 in the morning to 8 in the morning. Unfortunately, we will be an early show, not the 9 to 11, but it will be every day from 6 to 8 in the morning. You will find my show. Then it will be followed by... good night. I am losing my brain. Is it going to be the Common Ground show, or no? It'd be. I think it's Off the Rails. Is it not Off the Rails there, sir? Give me that list of people we're going to have daily.
Okay, so coming lineup, and actually it'll probably be about 2 weeks out because we still have some things to work out behind the scenes. 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, will be the show you're currently listening to, which is The Family Factor, hosted by Denny C. Then from 8 to 10, you will find Finding Common Ground, hosted by myself and Dave. And then from 10 to noon, America Off the Rails will roll right straight into that one. And then, of course, there'll be some rebroadcasts and some other stuff that we are working on for picking up hosts from other parts of the country. So... but that's the morning lineup that'll start being rebroadcast by other folks soon, from what I understand as well. So we're not sure if it's good or bad. Go ahead.
Well, I want to give a shout out to the two radio stations that are really good in music. That's 101. Is that correct? Is the first one?
Yeah, 101 is the one that started all this. They're actually the parent company of all of this stuff now.
And then 98.
Yeah, we have 98 FM. That one, the format is changing. It is going to become more of a rock, red dirt music, rockabilly, and indie station. And then we also have 98X that will be launching soon. That is more of a 80s, 90s platform. And there are some other things in the works too, but I don't know all the info on that. I've been a little busy with the K98 Talk platform to catch up on everything else that's going on.
Well, we thought we'd give a shout out to those two entities that are out there, and the third one to come. Of course, I will be bringing a show very soon. I started kind of last Monday, called Different Shades of Music. And no, for those of you who think I'm pulling off of that book, that is wrong. There is different shades of music in our lives, and we look at it from that perspective. So anyway, we want to thank again Double R for coming on and telling us about the upcoming shows that are going to be daily, where I get very little sleep and work all the time, as he does too. Let me ask this, Tracy, do you have that list of people now to talk to us?
I sure do.
Go right ahead.
In alphabetical order, we have Mandy Bean. She's the author of the story Cover Me. And then we have Brielle C. She's the author of A Transcending Bonds. Pete Clark is the author of The Last American. Tara Clark is the author of Antithesis. Sarah Daltrey is the author of One Enchanted Evening. Lexi DeLouvre is the author of The Dragon of Creed. Tracy Deming is the author of Raven Fire. William D. Dickerson is author of Luke, Vampire Hunter. Laura Henley, who you talked to earlier as well, is the author of Weather the Storm. William Lloyd Jenkins is the author of The Balaam Rising Force. It's also a introduction to his world as well. Sarah Marion is the author of Loving Death. She's also an Oklahoma author, along with me and Laura. So we're looking forward to talking to her next week, hopefully. Sarah Menery, she's the author of The Midnight Court. Michael Mount is the author of Sword and Princess. Simon Parker, who you heard from this morning, is the author of Bull and a Bear Market. Tanya Penn, she's the author of Ashley to Ashes and Rise of the Mutant Sunflowers. We liked both their stories, so we put them both in. Jack Hogan Phillips is the author of Old Mother Baker's Sovereign. Cindy Pons Newell is the author of Winter's Rage. Vivian K. Smith is the author of The Girl in the Green and White Gingham Dress. And Ron Steele is the author of Alwyn. So there's 19 authors and 20 different stories. It's quite a book. It's over 300 pages.
Yeah.
And it's turned out to be an awesome book to put them all together.
And it sounds really, really good. And, of course, as I stated, I talked with Ron last week. Now, let me ask this, if you don't mind. You said that you put the word out on like an author blog, but did you know any of these people before you did that, Tracy? And did any of these people know you? Or did any of those people know each other? And that helped. In other words, you reached out, one knows another, and they all come in that way? Or was it just you reached out and everybody saw it and came in? How did you get the group to write like this?
I only knew 2 of these people, and everyone else I have met through various author blogs and pages and events that we do online to support each other and, to get likes and, coverage for your own Facebook pages, to get the word out about who you are, what you write, and to build your fan base. So, no, I didn't know any of these people from Adam besides William Jenkins and Michael Mounts, who were friends of mine that are also aspiring writers, and I asked them to write short stories for the collection, and they were gracious enough to do so. And it literally was just casting out that line and seeing what would come back. And these wonderful people are who I came back with.
That's great. And so go ahead.
This is Laura. I was just going to say that, Tracy did a phenomenal job of pulling all of the authors together and keeping us informed and giving us due dates. She did an excellent job, and she was really on it, and I could tell that she had a passion for this, and all the authors that contributed to the book had a passion for it as well.
That's wonderful. And I appreciate. So y'all knew each other before this too, or you just happened to stumble on each other? Which was it?
I guess we met like in one of the groups, and she approached me, and she found out that I was actually in Oklahoma as well, and she asked me if I would like to contribute a story, and I said absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. And so let me ask this. So you have your other book coming out, I saw November 7th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And so you've had that previous book about the Christmas thing, and it's amazing that in Oklahoma we have people who are really good with words. Lyrics and stories and short stories. For instance, all of us in Oklahoma back in the 8th and 9th grade, at least back in my day, we had to read The Outsiders, and we had to read the name of the other book with had Mim and M in it by S.E. Hinton out of Tulsa. What was that book? It's where I can't remember the name of the book. It just escaped me, and maybe Robert there, or he's going to hear this and he's going, "Oh, you dummy! It's this book," because it's the way he is with me. But we have some great authors from Oklahoma. We have some great songwriters from Oklahoma, and sometimes those things actually merge together. And so it's amazing that I tell you what, I have my media guy in the background saying, no, idiot, I didn't hear it this time. Sorry. Anyway, I added a few words on that one. But for both of you, though, you both now, Miss Henley, do you have children as well?
Yes, I have a 5-year-old daughter.
Okay. And so does that first book, does it have any is it the source of that book, some of it from your daughter then?
Actually, it was an honor to my grandmother that passed away in 2007. And
okay.
Jessie, the main character, is actually her as a child, from when she used to tell us stories about when she was younger and when she did things. And I actually one night just had a dream about it. And so the next day I wrote it down, and that's how the Jessie Adventures was born.
Amazing. Is Jessie going to have any more adventures other than the Christmas thing in the future?
Yes, she has a book coming out in April called Jessie Loves Daddy.
Jessie Loves Daddy. Well, that's great because go ahead.
Yeah, it's just about her and her father's relationship.
And so, but it's what was the age of that child again, Jessie? What's her age? 8?
She's 6.
She's 6. Okay, well that's great because are these books that you could actually read with a 6-year-old or anything like that, or young children?
Yeah, you can read them with young children. I read mine to my daughter, and I've had several people say that they've read them to as young as 2-year-olds, and they're very engrossed in the story, and it's very animated and live.
That's great. That is great. Well, then we definitely want to make sure with that list that Tracy said we're going to have out there that different people that have these kind of things that help give a child a sense of adventure, a sense of wonder. That's what's wonderful about these kind of writings that you're talking about, Ms. Laura. And so let's ask something now. What's the next immediate step in the Winds of Change family? What's their next immediate step, would you say?
The next immediate step is just to advertise and publicize the book and get sales going. Without a big publishing house that falls to us to do all that kind of work, we don't have thousands of dollars budget sitting there to advertise a book. So it's that's going to be a big labor of love over the next few months to get this off the ground and going and out there and in people's hands and aware of the project, the book, the premise, behind it. I mean, it's a book of short stories for everyone to read that they might enjoy, but the purpose is not for us to be making money. It's for us to make money for our community, and that's the biggest deal. And
that's why I would give a shout out to Walmart. I'd give a shout out to Best Buy. I would give a shout out to Barnes and Noble. I'd give a shout out to Hastings. These are all in the Norman and Moore area. They're all over the city. I would give a shout out even to Mardell's. Do you think Mardell's would carry this kind of a book in the Oklahoma City area?
I do have. I'm since I'm the one that's publishing all this and putting it together and doing it with my charity. I can, bookstores, local bookstores, local businesses, anyone can submit orders to order. If they want to buy a block of books from, I can certainly do that. They can work with me directly so that we can make money for the charity. The authors and I are going to be working on getting some print copies ordered and circulated around so as many of us as possible to get signed copies available, and we may be using those. Sorry about that. It's thunder, and the dogs don't like it. To get some print copies signed so we can maybe auction them off or use them in some sort of a function to raise more funds. Hopefully.
Okay, let me ask this. If I may. What would the possibility of the school systems more maybe Norman, maybe Newcastle, maybe Blanchard, maybe Oklahoma City, those areas that were either near it, were hit later, or have been hit, would they be willing, from the school perspective, to offer it for people to buy as a function for the kids to carry, to their friends and family and neighbors and all of that?
Yeah, I am looking into the mechanics of setting up fundraisers to sell the book for that, to see, one, to raise proceeds for the school that would be selling the book, but also, basically sharing in the profit. The profit goes to the charity and goes to the organization that's selling it. So, yes, I am looking into that. It's all still, I hate to say fresh and new, but it is. We're all learning this as we go. And, the main focus has been just to get it ready for sale and bring it, to the public, so that we do have a product to work with instead of just talk about it all the time. So, but yes, absolutely. Fundraisers. My mother was a Tupperware manager for 20 years growing up as a kid, and she used to do fundraisers with schools, and she's actually working with me to figure out some mechanics of things that we can do with the book, and maybe some other author-related materials with these other authors as well. So I have a lot of plans in the works, and it's just the best thing to do is to keep checking the blog at tracydeming.com, because that's where the most updated information is going to be posted as I get it.
I understand. Well, I tell you what, let me ask this, Miss Regina, are you there where you can speak with us at this time?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just making sure. Let me ask this real quickly, Ms. Regina. Based on what Tracy said, and you have your background too, are there other avenues you've been thinking about that you might be able to help in that spreading the word of that book by way of offer, like through different methods, through different groups of organizations, any of that kind of idea?
Yes, basically right now we're working a lot with the social media and blogging and areas like that. We area bookstores there in Oklahoma. Also, books like this I think would be a good sell, like here on the East Coast, even though it's not helping, say, Sandy victims, but people are always, I believe, out there ready to, like you said, pay it forward.
Yes. I agree, because everybody did pay it forward to those victims. Back when Katrina hit, I and my dad and he's like an uncle, we talked a lot about it. I had actually had gotten the news from a friend of mine who is a Texas forest ranger. He's over the whole east side of Texas. He said the government had told them up front it looked like a year that they did not want to see what was coming with the storms that could happen, and then Katrina hit. Well, people like my father, who is an RN, and he, as well as his friend Dawn, which is like my uncle, they went down there just to help relieve and take care of people on their own dime, as well as many people did. And that's what you've got to say about America, whether it was when the bombing happened here in Oklahoma City back in 1994, or whether it was when the planes hit and the planes were taken over back in 9/11. Whatever has happened, the bombing in Boston not too long ago, people pull together and have helped in various ways, and that's the American spirit that cannot be killed by outside influences. That's the American spirit that goes above and beyond. The current crisis that we have at different times. Ladies, I tell you, it's been amazing. And no, we're not signing you off at all. I'm just saying it's been amazing that you have the time not only to come on this show, but to put your own time, besides working your regular jobs, putting in your own time for this kind of an idea to help those victims, whether it was like the little kids that lost their school. And the saddest part of that thing that happened in May was the children that did not make it out of those schools. that happened there in Moore, or outside of Moore. It's amazing that those kind of things had to have happened. But we will say this, that with Oklahoma, we learn from this every time it happens, and we continue. I mean, remember back when we all had to watch what the Grapes of Wrath, which was based on the Dust Bowl days of the teens and 20s in Oklahoma, and what it caused Oklahoma then. So the people of Oklahoma, one way or another, have had natural situations that have changed their life. Therefore, as you have wonderfully put with Simon's idea for this book, Winds of Change. And what's also interesting is Winds of Change is a double meaning, because inside the book are various authors with various stories, story lines, story ideas. Therefore, they are all winds of change, and I think it's wonderful. We're going to take a break here. It's coming up on the 10:30 hour. Tracy and Laura and Regina, we thank you for tuning in and for speaking to everybody here on the Family Factor. Please don't go anywhere unless you must. We want to talk to you the final 30 minutes that we have of the show. Before we sign on to a 10:30 break, do you have anything to add, either one of you, or all three of you, I should say?
I'll say what Simon said. Go buy the book, Winds of Change, on Amazon.
Exactly.
That's right. Go buy the book.
While I was sitting here on my Facebook news feed, Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote came through that really just fits what we're doing today and with Winds of Change. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So go buy the book.
That's right.
Yes,
what are you doing for others?
Definitely buy the book. It's a great book.
Okay. And I can't wait to read it myself when I get it later today. Let me go ahead, if you don't mind. We're going to kind of pause for the cause. And let's see here. Give me a moment, please. We'll be right with you. This is Denny C. with the Family Factor and the authors and providers of the Winds of Change book that's out in the Amazon bookstore at this time under the Kindle, and for $3.99 a copy, as well as coming soon to a regular book. So it's a great time to buy this time of year, a great little stocking stuffer, if you want to call it that, for somebody's brand new little Kindle or whatever. So take the time to look into that book and buy it if you can. That helps the victims of those that suffered the tornado that hit Moore back in May 2013 of this year. This is Denny C. giving time for my media guy to talk for me.
All right, folks. Well, again, I am Double R. You are listening to The Family Factor, hosted by Denny C. Now, he did open the door. He's going to kill me for this one, but we have something else hiding in the archives that he wrote a long time ago, and it will buy me some time to go ahead and finish up this last little bit of a break. I do want to give a shout-out to Miss Sherry Britt, my personal independent Beachbody life coach. Now, if you guys have been following us for a while, you know that lately I've been busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. If not for the shake stuff that she's kindly donated to me so I could talk about it on the air and let folks know how it's working, I honestly don't know if I would be able to keep up. You can find her on Facebook. You can basically do a Facebook search for Sherry Britt. Also, she has an independent Beachbody life coach page that is also under her name as well. If you're interested in ordering anything or checking into the workouts they have available or anything else, go ahead and hit her up. And Denny, you can kill me for this later, but you did open the door with the Beatles one. We'll be right back, folks, in about 4 minutes.
You're listening to The Family Factor with Denny C, right here on the all-new K98 Talk.
Okay, well, we thank everybody for tuning in to a wonderful show that is of vital importance in that you can give to others by giving to yourselves. Now, what do you think of that? You can give to others by giving to yourself. Well, how do I mean by that? Well, think about it like this. When you buy this book, The Winds of Change, care of Amazon Kindle, and coming soon, care of Amazon the book, you give to those who have a need. So you can give to yourself. You can even give it away to somebody else. Here's the only thing we ask. Do not make copies and give to somebody else. That's a cheat. Don't cheat others. Just give to others. And when I say give, I don't mean give it to them unless you buy it. So if you buy one, you must buy all. So that's what I'm going to tell you right now. We do have all of these authors in with us, and we are so thankful for them today. We even have Miss Regina, who was the help editor of that book, and we thank her for being here today, too. And Miss Laura, was that you that just came back that left for a moment?
Yes, I'm sorry. My phone dropped the call.
Oh, no, that's fine. By the way, guys, I was 17, 18 when I wrote that song you just heard. That was back in the 80s. I actually have more up-to-date music. As you can tell, that was back in the, back in those days. And actually, I do write music and professionally today, just as I did then. And matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm going to try and get a song together for The Winds of Change. And matter of fact, Tracy, I'm going to call the title of that song Winds of Change. And I'm going to, so if we have any lyrists out there, we would love you to donate your lyrics that would be great with the song called Winds of Change. That song will be featured here on The Family Factor, where any purchase of that book, probably not just purchase the book, but purchase of the song will also help that family. That song will not be coming out until we get everything said. It may not be until Christmas, but the main thing is I promised Tracy I would give back as well, and other than giving her and all the writers a free show and a free way to sell this book, I also want to also be a part of giving it by way of a song. Matter of fact, if it's a song of singing, Double R has a great singing voice. He may be the one singing in this song. I don't know. Double R, do you think you could sing in this song? Notice he stays quiet for the moment, as he does not want to comment his voice and his singing, but he still will not pick up. That's interesting. Well, he must be off away from his microphone. So, ladies, I had to just pull a stunt on him. But anyway, ladies, let me ask this. If you are going to listen to a song that best represents what's happening in Moore, that best represents your Winds of Change book, what would be a good take on words, would you say, that kind of sums up, not in one word, I'm saying in a lyric type thing, what would be really good to present in a form of a song that meets the feelings, the emotions, the experience, the feelings of how it was to go through that tornado, would you say?
Well, you don't ask much, do you?
You're authors. I thought, hey, I might as well just spit it out there and let you all talk on that.
As I've said, I'm not good with the lyrics there for you, but the power of the pen and the power of people caring and hearts coming together. They may not have a lot to give, but they have their talent, and using their talent to bring together and a force to change. That's the best thing I can tell you.
Right. Okay. Do you have anything to add to that, Miss Laura?
Again, I'm not good in the lyric department, but just to play on words, as Tracy stated, if this book or this project touches them, or the victims of Oklahoma touches them, and they can write a song, I push that they do, because, again, it's a very good cause. There are a lot of people affected by the tornadoes that not only hit in Moore, but there was also some, on the outskirts of, like, Shawnee as well.
Yes, you're right. Shawnee got hit, outside of El Reno got hit, and of course the thing about Moore is, was it not 1999 when that first one hit and went through that whole area? Was it 99 when that happened?
Yes, sir. I actually was actually a part of that one. It actually tore. I was at work at the time, and it actually tore right through. Right where I was at my job at the time. That 1999 tornado.
Where were you working then?
I was still in high school. I was actually working at Taco Bell.
Right there in front of Convergys. I had to ask that one.
Yeah, it was like right there in front of that. Unfortunately, yes.
Oh boy! Well, by the way, that's no there. It's moving. But anyway, well, and so basically, I guess with us, tornadoes is a common thing. With those that live on the coast, tropical storms and hurricanes is a common thing. I guess if you live in California, unfortunately, fire now is a common thing, which you hate. Based on your own experience of what you've seen in the news lately, what would you say, ladies, you find interesting about how people are responding to these different sad things that have happened, both costing lives, destroying property, destroying natural vegetation? What would you say is the atmosphere within the United States of America?
Well, I don't know about the entire country, but Oklahomans are a different kind of people. They pull together no matter what. And this is making me cry thinking about it. Just whenever you need help, your neighbor is right there next to you. And what I have found is that people even further extended across the country and into the UK and New Zealand. I believe Sarah Minnery is from the UK as well, and just the same spirit that I'm used to here at home is everywhere, and it's overwhelming.
Okay.
Overwhelming.
I agree. Laura, would you or Regina have anything to add to that?
I mean, Tracy, again, pretty much summed it up perfectly that, in time of need as a nation, we always come together to help those that need to be helped. Again, you said it when Katrina hit and Sandy hit, and the bombing here in Oklahoma, and when the Twin Towers have gone down. People always have lent their support, whether it was through their job or through money or through their time. They were always there.
Okay. And Miss Virginia, do you have anything to add to what they're saying? If you don't, that's fine too. I'm just asking.
No, I think they've summed it up great. I just a year ago, yesterday, on the East Coast, which was the Sandy storm. I wasn't personally hit by it in my home, but I saw the community come together and pull together, and that's what we do.
Exactly. Well, let me ask this. What do you think, whether it's this book, a song, the spirit, how could that be carried over to other dimensions of our world that we live in? Because in certain parts of this world, they could care less if somebody's. Matter of fact, they'll be the ones that'll bring the pain. They could care less if a tornado or a tsunami or a hurricane or a fire destroyed your home or your lives of those you love around you. How in the world can we have this kind of a spirit realistically grow, not for show, but realistically grow in not just in the United States as it is growing, but across this entire world? Do we take the language that John Lennon had back in the late 60s or 70s? All we were saying is give peace a chance, and what would you say based on that?
I would say that as a people, as human beings, the human spirit is the same. That people all over the world do care. That we're limited by our governments and our regulations and our, the things that are in place that keep us and do, war. But on a base level, just a human being caring about another human being, there is that evidence. Everyone cares about it. They may not know how. They may see, just like I do, and everyone else sees the devastation online and on television, and tsunamis and tornadoes and fires and like with Colorado, the terrible things they've been going through, but if it's not in your backyard, you're able to distance yourself from it. So if we can by this worldwide venture on a book platform that is available to everyone anywhere that can go online and order it, they can make something happen even though they feel so helpless of where they are. It's so far away, that's across the world. How can I help those people? Well, here's a way that you can. It's a platform. It's giving people and showing a way that they can show their spirit. And I mean that's the only thing that I can think to say on that we're not different. We are all the same.
Okay. That's right. It's amazing. It's amazing that these kind of things happen. Give me just a moment. Double R, I really don't understand what you just said, but okay. But let's see here. We're getting to the close of the show. We've got about 10 minutes left, as I will want to close the show in getting things ready for the next show and so forth. But you authors and any of the other authors of the book Winds of Change are more than welcome to come back on the show at any time, not to just talk about the Winds of Change, Volume 2, 3, and 4, but also to talk about your works that we'll be glad to discuss with the community around you. And hopefully that will turn out very well. Give me just a moment. Figures this would happen. I should have took this off the hook. Give me just a moment. I'm going to mute myself for just a minute. Hold on, please.
I think where he was going, guys, is if you have any time, you have to get a hold of both of us at this point, because most of you that are on here have been talking to us in a group that you guys run. So if you have anything else coming out that you want to plug in the recent days, just give us a shout. Let us know. We'll set up times to do individual interviews, group interviews, whatever you guys want to do. Because as I said in the chat we had a moment ago, shows like this one are one of the reasons why I started my crazy little idea. And yes, I call it my crazy little idea because when I pitched it to Dave and Denny and the other person who are currently involved in it, they all looked at me like I was crazy. And all I have to say now, gentlemen, is look where we are now. But I think he's unmuted himself now, so I think he's back. So I'll let him go back to talking.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Did you want to give out any words there? We're down to, like I said, our last 15 minutes. So let me say this, and I apologize. I thought I had my home phone on mute. It's amazing how our studio works this way. But anyway, to make a long story short, we will do our best to as we had Double R say, to open the doors for these kind of causes, to help those victims, regardless of where it is. So those of you who are listening to this show out there, if you have another cause that you would like us to, at the Family Factor, to discuss, let us know. Now, for those of you who listen to the Family Factor, normally the Family Factor is looking at today's climate for families, from single-parent homes to multi-divorced homes to homes that had abuse, homes that had deaths, all kinds of things, drug addictions, and try to bring out the best in a very, very sad situation to help people kind of get things back in order. Well, that's why I asked these authors to be a part of the Family Factor today, and they've been more than willing. And I want to say thank you to all three of you who've come on the air today, and thank you to Simon for also, and thank you for Ron, who also came on the air, to present unto all of us these specialities that you have in helping others. And so, as we're bringing the show to a close in our interview with all three of you, Tracy, what would you like to say before you're done for the day?
I just want to say thank you. All the hard work and everything that all these people have put in together, I would never have been able to complete this project without them, and it just humbles me every day. So, sorry, I've been a little sick too, so if I sound teary, it's part of
I hear you. I understand.
Good job too. As you said before, we're all working our regular jobs and then also working on this on the side. It's been a lot of work, and I just want to say thank you.
Well, we all thank all of three of you for what you're doing. Miss Laura, would you want to add to this now at the close of the radio show?
Sure. I just want to thank Tracy for, getting us all together and, bringing this project and making it live. And I want to thank you for giving, us the opportunity to advertise it and get the word out that this book is available and you can purchase it on Amazon.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And again, she has another book coming out in November the 7th. We're talking, 2 weeks away, or a week from, Friday. So keep an eye on that. And again, if you go to Tracy's blog page, she said basically she has everybody listed with their hyperlinks and everything, so you can find out more that they offer. And did you have anything else to add, Miss Laura, before I go to Miss Regina?
No, that's it. Just you can find me. I do have a Facebook page, and my website is www.LaraHenley.com. And all my books and information is on there.
Okay. Thank you very much for that as well. And finally, Miss Regina, do you have anything to add as the editor of this wonderful book?
I just want to say that I want to thank you and Blog Talk Radio and Tracy for bringing this all together. Tracy's hard work and her vision of this project has been amazing. And asking me to be involved in it has just been so rewarding. A lot of hard work put in, but it's certainly been, I feel blessed to be involved in this. And if any authors out there are listening and would like to contact me about editing services, I have a website as well. and it's www.reginamitchell.com, and that's spelled Rogena, like Roger.
Okay. So Regina, so it's just reginak.com, you said?
ReginaMitchell.com.
ReginaMitchell.com. Thank you so much. I thought I would ask you on that one. Sorry about that.
All
Anything
right.
else that you would like to add on this this show?
No.
Or is that it?
Thank you so much for having us.
Been a pleasure to have all three of you on the show. And as we stated, they will be having other selections coming out, and we will be, of course, interviewing them at different times whenever they have an upcoming book and so forth. And again, you can always go to Tracy's website that she gave out, and we will make that as a link, I believe, on our Family Factor page. And anything that I'm going to add it to our Family Factor page, just go to facebook.com/The Family Factor. You will find these kind of things added for that very reason. It's amazing to me that we have people of such character from all over the world who came out of their own time, out of their own skins, to write a book of short stories to help those who got up on a normal day, went to school, went to work, stayed home in bed, whatever, only to hear that unfortunate sound of a tornado siren going off when you have every weatherman on Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 9, Channel 25 of Oklahoma City scaring the, pardon the phrase, the bejesus out of you about what was about to happen. To step out in your front door to look outside and you see that tunnel, that funnel, that huge dark funnel going toward south of Mustang, toward the Newcastle/Moore area, and then make havoc going all the way across through Moore on through, right toward, like it almost just further south, but almost exactly as the 1999 tornado did, almost the exact same line item issue. If you ever go to Wikipedia, you can find out that information as well about that. But the main thing is we appreciate these writers of different backgrounds, everybody involved, trying to help those families, and not just the families, but the school systems, the city of those areas, regain and rebuild their lives due to the winds of change. And so, again, I think that's a catchy tune, or a catchy title that Simon Parker put out, The Winds of Change, with some wonderful, wonderful writers. I mean, it's amazing to me what we see in this book that's coming out. My hope is to have a song prepared and written and for broadcast or for giving to the same cause in the next coming few months, if not sooner. I have work to do here on the radio station. But we thank you for tuning in to the Family Factor. Double R, do you have any closing statements or things that we need to talk about as we bring our episode to a close?
So, wait, you me for how many months now? When do I shut up? Just saying. But anyway,
You're funny.
Short answer is, if you haven't yet, why not go hit up the Kindle store and purchase The Winds of Change while it's on sale, $3.99. Apparently they're going to run that for a few days. So go grab it. Go grab it now. Tell your friends. Remember, this is going to charity. So when's the last time you were able to help out at a charity for less than a Happy Meal? Just throwing that out there. So now, as far as what we have coming up, we are down to about 6 minutes of the show. Again, tomorrow, you can hear on the Blog Talk platform only. Check out On the Fringes, hosted by my buddy Dave. It's an alternate music show where you can basically hear the kind of stuff that makes him do the happy dance, or what was that show back in the 80s with the guy from the weird country who did the Dance of Joy. Anytime Dave starts playing that music, that's the guy I think of. His character's name was Balki Bartakamus. So anytime Dave was like spinning on that show, I'm just picturing him like standing there just doing the happy dance or the Dance of Joy. But yeah, he really, really loves that stuff. I have to admit, it's not my cup of tea. However, he has kind of turned me on to Frank Turner. So I caught some more of that stuff. But so we have that coming up tomorrow. I believe that is going to be its normal time from 9 to 11. Then on Friday, you will hear us, of course, Dave and I again on Finding Common Ground, the Red Shirt Friday edition. That will be simulcast through Blog Talk as well as K98 Talk. And if any of you who are catching this now, just for the record, this is 10:55 on October 30th, 2013. This is 10:55 in the morning. This show may be rebroadcast, so if you're trying to get a hold of anybody and it's much later in the day when you're hearing this, we're not here. JT pointed that out the other day. He said we need to start giving out dates and times so that when things get picked up on the replay feeds, people aren't trying to call us and going, So yeah, I thought I'd better throw that in there real quick. And before I put it up as a rebroadcast on the server, I'll actually do that towards the front as well. So that's the housekeeping for the moment. Now, Around the Ring and Comic Talk, I believe we're going to start airing back-to-back on Saturday mornings, starting at 8, running until 10. And they're just going to, that's both Dave and Steve, a.k.a. Otter, who are doing those. So they're just going to kind of run them about an hour at a time. Then on Sunday, Otter, or Steve, host of the Outer Limits, makes his triumphant return to talk radio here on the new home of the Common Ground Media Group, K98talk.com. So for those of you who've been catching him on the rebroadcast, he feels like he's back up to snuff again, so he's going to start doing the live shows again Sunday. I think he's moved the start time, if memory serves. I think that is about 7. So at this point, that is basically going to do it for what we've got. And Denny's already pulled all the authors into a conference, or I was going to let him close out the show. But you know what? He's leaving me in charge here. So since we've been playing some stuff by some other folks, I'm going to play something here that for those JB or Big John, he is kind of big on the whole music. So never mind, you're back. Nope, never mind, you're gone again. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take us out with a song that he's written, that he's given me permission to play. So all of these folks that are yelling about us playing music on talk radio can forget about it for just this one last more. Is that anything you want to say before I hit the button?
Yes, I do. Okay, again, we will be back next Wednesday, I guess, at this time. Now, guys, you can pick up the Family Factor, because I'm going to try and start adding shows between the next 2 weeks anyway. Also, I am going to try working on this music show, but I don't know if I'm doing that yet. So go ahead. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Denny C. along with Double R saying bye-bye, Sarna, and please buy the book. Go ahead, Double R.
Ever have something you know that nobody else can see? Do you have a place you wanna go? Do you feel like you're running out of time? Before I sing another line and one more rhyme, you gotta dig deep and make up your mind. You gotta ask yourself, did you try? Yeah, or did you give up on mine? I don't wanna hear it if you're not gonna try, but instead you gotta get up on time. You gotta ask yourself, did you try? Did you give up on mine? I don't wanna hear it if you're not gonna try, but instead you gotta get up on time. Did you ever wanna be more? Did you ever wanna fly? Did you ever wanna go out of space, reach out and touch the sky? Did you ever wanna be more? Did you ever wanna fly? Did you ever wanna go out of space, reach out and touch the sky? Don't mean to come down on you, you have so much to do. And I know there's a lot inside of you they don't know who you are. I know it gets hard sometimes, and it gets frustrating at times, and Savannah.